Magandang umaga everyone. Magandang hapon everyone. So today's lesson is kind of like confusing, but yet I hope at the end of this video you will understand. It's about functions and their inverses or writing inverse function. You see this man wants to ride on a swing in a reverse way. That's basically doing what is our topic for today. Okay, you are undoing everything what you have done, okay, in a reverse way. All right, let's begin. I want you to grab your green paper and let's start working on your bridge warm-up. So here are your learning targets. Okay, for our bridge, so this is probably the starter of how you will understand inverse. So given the first question as solve for y in terms of x. So what you will do, I have a prepared answer key for this one, but I want to do it manually instead. So the first thing that you need to do is to distribute. If you do that, 5 times y is 5y, while 5 times 7 is 35, and then equals x. So simplify it further by simplifying. Again, I'll copy here. 5y plus 35 equals x. So if you subtract 35 in both sides of the equation, you can cancel this out and this will happen. Where 5y is equal to x minus 35. Am I right? Same thing here. Now, again, we haven't satisfied the equation in terms of y because we still have a numerical coefficient beside. So what you will do is to divide it by 5. Everything should be divided by 5. So you're going to end up with 5y divided by 5 equals x over 5 minus 35 over 5. Continue simplifying the equation by canceling the 5, and this 35 divided by 5 is 7. So you'll have y equals 1/5 x minus 7. Alright? Let's do number 2. Same problem as number 1. We need to solve for y in terms of x. So given the equation 1/2 y minus 3 is equal to x. So to simplify this and to start, I'll put and copy here. So you're going to add 3 in both sides, getting the answer of 1/2 y equals x plus 3. Considering that the left side, oh, what happened? Where's my pen? My pen is not showing up. How will I make that? Okay, here. Why I can't write? Okay, so considering that this will be cancelled out, wait. Okay, so then I will divide each of the side by 1/2, so it will become like this, and then cancel out this one, so y will be equal to x plus 3 over 1/2. And then simplify the right side of the equation by doing x plus 3, and then the inverse of division, which is this bar line, is multiplication. And then the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1. Therefore, you'll have an answer of y equals 2 times x plus 3, because if you put 2 here and you put that, will make you the value or the equation in terms of y. Make sense? Now, if it seems like so confusing in your end, why not, after this video or after this lesson, go back and replay the video so you will understand it further. Make sense? Alright. Now, let me clear this out. Okay. So probably this would be needed for you to understand more about of inverses. So I have operations, okay? Addition has an inverse of subtraction, or the inverse of addition is subtraction. For example, X plus 3 becomes x minus 3. From addition, it turns to subtraction. Now, subtraction has an inverse of addition, where again, if you put that as an example, you'll just need to reverse the example on top. Now, multiplication inverse is division, whereas an example is if you're multiplying 5 times x, the inverse would become division, which is x over 5. Now, division has an inverse of multiplication. So, vice versa of what I gave you an example for division, for multiplication. For the third one is x squared. The inverse of x squared is square root. Here's the example. If I have x squared, and then the inverse would be square root of x. So, vice versa of a square root, and then the inverse would be x squared. Now, cube will have an inverse of cube root. For example, x cubed is equal to 3 cube root of x. Then vice versa, you have cube root, and then the inverse is x cubed. Alright? I hope this will at least make open your mind of how inverses happens when it comes to operations. Okay, take note of this because we're gonna use this for the rest of this PowerPoint. Okay, let's begin. Oh wait, hold on. Before I show you that, I have memes that you may want to see. Of course, you may laugh. At the same time, you will understand how inverse happen. Okay. Inverse is usually represented by f of x, and f of x is also equal to y. Now, take a look at this dog and the fire. If you're getting the inverse of this one, it will be in an opposite. Look, the dog and the fire, this is fine. You see that? So that is inverse. So this is what you call inverse function. Again, this is function of x. This is inverse function. Next, another meme. Look at that. You see the lady pointing to a cat? What do you think would be the inverse of that as a meme? Look. So this is an example of an inverse. So it undo everything. Okay? It switches. Alright? I hope now you're getting an idea. Of course, not for the meme, but for the equations later. Another example. Imagine a cat carrying a fish. What would be the inverse of that? I know. See? You're even smiling. See that? A big fish eating a cat. That's an inverse. Alright? Okay, next. I have a lot of meme. You see how these two girls are bisecting the frog? Oh my goodness. Imagine how this will become an inverse. Let me just show you. Look, the inverse of that is the frog is, but doing the bisection for this man or a human being. Imagine that. Would you like to do that? Would you like that to happen instead? Okay, another meme. Look at that. A fries in ketchup. What will be the what do you think will be the inverse of that? See? A lot of ketchup in a small fries. Alright? Now, are we getting the idea now of how inverse happening? You are undoing everything or you're just switching everything together. Alright? Next. Alright, imagine that. Quiet place, right? I know. You know that. Look at the quiet place. Imagine how will this look like. Which one is the majority that covers his face or her face? Ta-da! That's inverse. Alright? Next, I hope this will not be the last. Yes, inverse function. So this is your function. Okay, imagine This top right here has hair. So what do you think is under this emoji? Boom. Alright, look at the top. It's empty. Ha! That's inverse. Are we good? Seems like you are writing a name and then you're taking the inverse of that. So you're gonna do this. Okay? That's inverse. Redoing everything inverse. Alright? Any questions so far? Just message me if you do have question. So let's begin. Now, with this activity, I hope you will understand how to build an inverse function. Use the two representations of f of x to find an equation for the inverse of x. So given this equation, that's the equation. If you're gonna plug in Desmos, that's fine. However, I provided you the graph. I'm sorry, the table. Look at that. Now, inverse is basically switching them up in their position. So your x will be your y will be your x. As simple as that.